Hi, I'm Chris from CPT Arb and Garden Maintenance. I'm just trying to, it's a bit cold now, you can see my breath. I've had a bit of an issue with the chainsaw. Basically, this little spring here, the last one misshapen, so I've got a new one for it. The only thing is that I'm taking the pull cord assembly out, which is this bit here. The spring came out, the big coily spring. Now they're an absolute nightmare. Luckily this one's intact. I'm just going to show you a little way now, just to basically recoil it up so you can put it back in the easy way. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need a screw, a simple screw, and you're going to want two cable ties joined together at each end. That's the crucial bit for this. And also you need plenty of room to work with, so I'm just going to move a few bits and pieces around, try and clear it up a little bit so we can get on and do it. Okay, so I've got my cable tie. The first thing you want to do now is I'll just show you. I'm just going to put this into this bench here, just screw it in, not all the way because you need to leave the top open. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Just pop it in there. And that will do. As you can see now, that's how I've got the screw in. Don't know if you can see that, it's just here, just there. Just poking out like that. Now that is what you're going to use to do this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the hook end of it first and you're going to hook that onto the screw. Make sure you don't lose any other bits, make sure it's clear so we don't mess anything up. Right, I don't know if you can see that okay, just try and angle it a bit. There you go, I think you can just see the screw just there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a start now on coiling this up. It's a bit tricky and it might take you a couple of attempts to do it because they are a bit of a nightmare to do. And all we're going to do now, if I can get this the right way around, oh, it's got me inside, doesn't it? Let me just figure this one out. That's it, like that. Now we've got it going the right direction. Now, with that hanging on there, we can now coil this up. It's a bit tricky and you're going to want to get your cable tie just ready. See, with it being hooked on there, it makes it a bit easier to now wind it up. Right, come on. There we go. You want to try and keep the spring all the way on the bench. And when you get it to a certain point, that's when the cable ties are going to come into hand. So we're just going to keep coiling it now until we get to a good size. Right, I think we're nearly there now. Right, we take the cable tie now and we wrap it over the whole spring now, including going around the screw. And then we can pull it a bit tighter and that will keep the spring now contained where it is. So now you can let it go, you see, and it won't go anywhere. See? I'll just show you. There you go. Got the cable ties. Sorry, there's shadows a bit there. There you go. You can now see the cable ties around the whole spring now. So now we can really start winding that up now and keep tightening the cable ties on it. Like I say, sometimes it might take a couple of attempts, but we're going to give it a go now. There's no easy way to do this bit apart from to keep winding it up now. There probably is, but I haven't discovered it just yet. But as it gets tighter and tighter, you can keep tightening that spring up. And it should hopefully stay there. Yeah, now we can keep winding it a bit more. And the trick is, I'll show you how to put it in a minute as well. So we're just going to keep now winding it up. See, now my cable tie's got a bit looser, so we can tighten the cable tie up again. And we're going to keep doing it until it is quite tight. It's the easiest way. I tried doing it this other way before I discovered this way of doing it, and it is a lot easier. What you're going to have to do is just keep checking it about the size of where it's got to go into. This is where now it's getting really tight and wound. And I think we might even now, just going to keep it there, let it unwind a little bit. And I'm going to use, you might not have some of these, but you might need one. What we're going to use now is we're going to use these. the little grippers, just to grip the inside bit of that, just so it's flush with the table. Need to give those a bit of a tighten up. This hopefully now should make it a bit easier to keep winding it up. Oh, a bit looser. There we go, now we've got it clamped, now you can wind it. It's a bit easier to wind it now. You see, you can keep twisting it now and it will wind itself up. You want to make sure, oh, see, it's trying to pop out of its holder now. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to try and do that cable tie up, which it doesn't want to go at the moment. Ah, see, it discombobulated on me. That's the problem, you've got to watch out for this. So I'm going to need to get 2 more cable ties now for this bit, unless I can loosen these off. Let's have a look. Like I say, it's a bit tricky. I'm just going to pause it for a minute while I loosen my cable tie off. So, I've reset my cable tie and we're going to give it another go now. So, it isn't the easiest job in the world, but this is still the easiest way to do it from that way. Keep my pliers there now, this time for when I need them. Right, I'm going to do it again now, here we go. They're a very tricky thing to do, these are. And sometimes it does take a couple of attempts to do it. So, now I've got it so far, we're now going to get the cable tie and put it back over again. A bit like that. There we go. There we go, that's over, and now we're going to give it a bit of a tighten up to hold it where we've got it to already. There we go. Now that's there. I could do with really having to go at making a tool to actually assist with doing this. I think we need to start tightening the other side of that cable tie now. Right, here we go. So now we just keep trying to coil it up, keeping it flat all the time. Oh, see, it's trying now to force its way back out, so we're going to grip all of it and not just work from the middle. We're going to grip all of it this time, which is nearly there. That's the thing when you're trying to pull it tight, is making sure it doesn't pop back off that screw again. Now at this point you can let it go and it should stay there now. And now it's getting there. We've just got to wind it in so it gets tighter now. This is the bit where it gets difficult, and last time it popped off, so we're going to try and avoid it happening again, that one there. This time, just a few little turns at a time and we'll get it. Just keep winding her up and it will just get smaller. Keep winding it. You need to make sure it's about the same size as where you're going to put it back into. See, now we can just let that uncoil for a minute, give my fingers a quick rest. And I want to just check roughly the size of where it's going to go into so we can get it. So what I'm going to do is just look in there. It's got to fit in there, so it's still, I can already tell it needs to go a little bit further. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to check it. Just use a way of measuring it just to check. Rough measurement. I can't really tell. Just give it a bit of a gauge. Yeah, we still need it. We need to get it down to about 6.5 centimetres there, so we've still got a little bit to go. We've got to wind line the whole thing up. Out of all the ways to do it, this is probably the easiest way to do it, but we've got to get some real tension on it now to make it smaller and smaller, which we're doing now. Give it another tighten up, there we go. Now it's getting to roughly about the right size. I think we're actually now nearly there. Just going to wind it up a little bit more. I think that is probably going to be about right for us. So what we're going to do now is you can undo the screw, and hopefully, there we go. See, now we're there, and that's it, all rolled up nice and tight. But what you don't want to do is take it out now, because it'll just ping straight back out. What I'm going to do is find my pliers, and I'm just going to cut the cable ties at each end, a bit like this. Just being very careful, we don't want it to pop out now. That's one gone, and that's the second one gone. Right, now we've done that, now's a bit where you've got to be brave, and now you've got to try and get it back into here now, which is the tricky bit. So now we're just going to put it in there. We're going to put the whole thing in, including the cable ties, and then once it's in a position, we're then going to just push it through, and hopefully see it's exactly the right size where we need it now. So now, hopefully, without it discombobulating all over the place again, use a little pair of pliers just to squeeze it through, hopefully, making sure that we get the eye in where it needs to go, which I think is just there. There we go. Right. Be very careful now. We take the cable tie out, and it will unwind into its position, and there we go. That is now the spring fully back into place, and now we can go ahead and rebuild the rest of the tool back up. So I have got a new one, but there's nothing wrong with the old one, to be honest, so I'm going to use the old one, and I'm just going to now put that back in there, and hopefully make sure there's no debris in it. This is a tricky bit now, making sure it's lined up. And I think that is now in place. I'm going to go ahead and put my new spring in, which apparently doesn't want to fit. Apparently it's the wrong size. So I might have to change this one. Right, I'm going to have to change this one over a bit. Carefully take that out. We don't want to disturb that spring, so we're just going to push it aside. And that is basically the easiest way now to coil your spring up if it comes all entangled like that. 2 cable ties, you're going to need a pair of pliers to cut the cable ties, 2 cable ties roughly about 30 centimeters in length. Make sure you've got your T25 to rebuild it all, make sure you've got all the screws, make sure you don't lose anything, and then once you've got it to the right size, just simply put it into place, push it through, and the cable ties off, and the spring is then intact. And that is the best way to do that job. And yeah, Chris from CPT Urban Garden Maintenance, thank you very much.